Thank you very much for having me back here. I'm delighted this time to be supporting a motion that I know I supported last time I came here and spoke. I wasn't sure really which side I should be on, but this time it's pretty clear I'm on the correct side. This House would be glad to have gay parents is a motion I'm happy to propose. As you might have guessed, I'm in a same-sex relationship. My lovely boyfriend is over there wearing a rather snazzy suit. But what you might not have guessed is that both of us actually are very glad to have gay parents too. We're in Oxford, so I had a look at the Oxford Dictionary on the way up here, and it says that gay means light-hearted and carefree. Both of us had light-hearted and carefree childhoods, brought up in a happy and secure and nurturing environment, one that had many of the vestiges of a traditional idyllic childhood that you might find in an Enid Blyton novel. Books that actually use the word gay in that context quite a lot, by two people who were very much in love. In our case, it happens that our parents were heterosexual, but they definitely fulfilled the original definition of the word gay. I'm not just referring to the old-fashioned use of the word gay for a laugh, but I mean sort of, but actually because I think that the word gay and the way that it's actually used in the context of this debate will start to seem as old-fashioned as an Enid Blyton novel describing a nice carefree boy as gay. And the reason I'm saying that is that I think that time is changing. We're moving on a lot. I'm one of the people who actually helped start the debate that will lead to this nation having same-sex marriage. And people like me being able to get married if I wanted to. But I actually oppose the notion of gay marriage. I oppose it because I support marriage. And when I get married, if that's what I decide to do, I don't want to have a gay wedding. I just want to have a wedding. The same sort of wedding that my parents... the same sort of wedding that my parents or grandparents had. And I don't want to be labelled as being in a gay relationship. And if I eventually become a father, I just want to be a dad, not a gay dad. Now, some people might think that this is a bit of a pipe dream, but I think it's a reality because things are changing very quickly. I mean, for example, David Cameron used to talk a lot about his support of gay marriage, not in spite of being a conservative, but because he's a conservative. But now he just refers to marriage and that everyone should be able to have it. And I think it's very important in the context of this debate because once same-sex marriage happens, then I will be treated no differently under the law and eventually in society, regardless about, against those who oppose equal rights, equal marriage, or oppose freedom for people to marry or have children, because, I mean, this is going to be passed, it's on the statute book, and note, the people who object to it, I mean, there's very few people that actually do object to it now. Not that credible. One of the reasons that I've campaigned for same-sex marriage to be legal is that I hope to eventually have children. And when I have children, I want to be married because I think that's the best way to bring up children. But the reality is, it is going to be very difficult to have children. As my colleague on this side said, you cannot get pregnant by accident. Now, we've tried and we've tried and we've tried. It just hasn't happened. And actually, what's kind of interesting is, I would have thought that people such as the Society for the Protection of Unborn Children would be in favour of this, because I would suspect that the abortion rate amongst gay couples of unborn children is probably zero. Because for a gay male couple, it means either adopting or finding a surrogate mother. The latter is expensive and stressful and would result in one parent not being the biological parent of the child. And if adopting, it's a long, drawn-out process, requires time commitment, the permission of someone else to decide that you can have children, and the awesome responsibility of bringing up another person's child in a loving, stable relation, in a stable state, without the support, actually, of the state. You don't get paid to do that. Bringing up a child is not, as some might label it, a sort of fashion accessory. It's a big commitment, and one that same-sex couples take over a much longer time period than an opposite-sex couple. Right now, there are thousands of children being conceived every year by accident, often resulting in one parent if they decide not to terminate the pregnancy. And surely that no one can seriously believe that two parents who just happen to be of the same sex could actually be a bad thing for a child. It's not a decision that's taken lightly, and actually, despite what your opposition said, actually the evidence is that same-sex couples make good parents. Anyone who's LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, goes through a period of self-discovery and questioning that leads to a very stressful act of actually revealing who you are, and then actually becoming much more confident about yourself. And you've gone through a lot to be there. And there are actually some studies that have shown that same-sex parents bring up children better than opposite-sex couples, and others from around the world going... I'm sorry, no. If you'd have taken any, I might have said yes, but no. Other studies from around the world, going back as far as 1978, it's been going on for ages, have shown that the outcome for children brought up by 2 men or 2 women are at least comparable to opposite-sex couples. And why wouldn't... I want to get it through. I want to get through it. Sorry. Having 2 parents who love you and have fought hard to be able to bring you into their lives must be an amazing feeling for any child. I know that right now there are not loads and loads and loads of gay couples or same-sex couples who have children, but there are lots of children that have been brought up by at least one gay parent. People like my brother-in-law, whose mother was married, but then came out when he was a teenager. And although he was upset that his parents got divorced, he didn't begrudge. He's not unglad, I don't know what the word is, but he's certainly glad that his mom is happy in love and in love with a woman. And that brings me, what actually is important is it hasn't made him gay. And it brings me to another claim, which is often made, and has been made, that children brought up by same-sex couples risk being gay themselves. Well, my parents, despite being gay, are actually heterosexual, and it didn't make me attracted to women. Having same-sex attractions isn't a choice. I certainly, if I'm honest, wouldn't have chosen to be gay, and there's been periods in my life where I've been single or upset or whatever, and I would have probably taken a tablet if there was such a cure, because no one chooses to be gay, no one chooses to be different, no one chooses in the past to be discriminated by the state, no one chooses to be the subject of, frankly, quite ludicrous debate that we're actually having here, whether people should be able to have children. I mean, for example, a debate being held to say this house would be glad to have black parents would be absolutely distasteful, yet we are having a debate that this house would be glad to have gay parents. So what are the objections? Perhaps they're religious. Well, not all religions oppose same-sex parents, and there isn't just one route to the divine. Like a lot of the speakers, actually, I'm a theology graduate, and I can tell you that although there's a theoretical prohibition on same-sex relationships in the Torah and in the New Testament, though it's not in the Gospel, the issue of children being raised doesn't feature at all, either in Judaism or Christianity, and not all strands have the same views. Many of my friends are lesbian or gay, and a lot of them are also Jewish, some of them very religious. One couple in particular, my friends Natalie and Sam, are treated by their conservative synagogue as if they're a normal Jewish couple with 2 lovely children. They just happen to have one mummy and one imma, which is the name for mum in Hebrew. Their children have a happy life and are happy to have the love of 2 wonderful parents. Another couple I'm friends with, a male couple, have adopted a son who came from a pretty horrific background. He had a neglectful mother, and he now has 2 devoted, hard-working professional dads and he's not found that his friends treat him any differently to anyone else just because his parents happen to be of the same gender. They are married because they got married in Canada. Maybe that made it easier, and I'm sure that when people are able to get married here, it will also make it easier. When we return to the debate, the title of the debate, I want to ask you, when you decide which way you're going to walk through, I need to ask you the question about yourself. Would you be glad to have 2 loving parents? 2 parents who aren't wicked people? 2 parents who have sacrificed a lot to bring you into their lives? 2 people who will dedicate their lives to making you happy, but 2 people who just happen to be of the same sex? Why on earth wouldn't that make you glad? I ask you to vote in favour of the proposition. Thank you very much.